This is a very physically challenging thing to do, cutting down your own trees, milling lumber, and building a cabin. I am capable of so much more than I ever thought I was, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Hi, my name is Caitlin Holler. I am 35 years old, and I am building my own cabin off-grid in Alaska. Years ago, my late husband and I bought 10 acres up here, completely undeveloped and off the road system. And I have been working on building a cabin here on the property. So I started this project back in June of this year, and it is now October. I got the whole structure up in 3 months, and I would not have been able to do this without my Woodland Mills HM122 because I don't have the road access to bring in materials. So this entire build has been put together with trees that I've felled on the property and milled with that sawmill. Alaska is beautiful. It is, the summers up here are amazing, but unfortunately we have a very short building season. Winter here lasts generally at least 10 months, and we're just coming into the start of that. So I don't know if you can see how cold it is here, but we're about ready to see the snow flying. But if you love outdoor adventures and fishing and hunting and hiking and sightseeing, there's nothing like it in the world. My husband and I, we had moved around a lot, just over the years, trying to find a place that felt like home and trying to find a place to settle and trying to, just get our life started. But being a young couple, this day and age, the cost of living everywhere is just so high. And we didn't see how we were ever going to be able to buy a home. We just wanted a simpler life. And so we decided, instead of buying a home somewhere in the suburbs or in the city, we were going to build our own home. And we started shopping for properties up here in Alaska. So we bought our property up here about 3 years ago. We came up in the summer and we worked on doing some land clearing for 2 summers in a row, and decided to move up here and work on it full time. The plan was for us to move up last spring. And a month before our move, he was unfortunately in a fatal car accident. So I ended up making the move and working on this myself. I've been building things and creating things as long as I can remember. I grew up on a little hobby farm, and we were always building some sort of fence or animal shelter or something. And all my life, as long as I can remember, I was picking up a hammer and nails or a screwdriver and just putting things together. I've never in my life taken on something of this scale. This has been my Everest, and I've never been more proud of anything in my life. So, it is tragic the way that I ended up doing this alone. But at the same time, it's my journey now, and it's something that I'm loving every second of, and I'm incredibly proud of. I think the first thing I ever built by myself was a doghouse, and this thing was so rickety. I think one gust of wind and it would have fallen over. But it was my introduction to learning how to build. I learned by doing, and I learned by making mistakes. From there, I built a horse barn. I built a log cabin chicken coop back in Oregon 3 years ago. And it's slowly grown up from there. So the spark has always been there. The skills have been slower to develop, and everybody asks me where I've learned how to do the things that I do, and I don't really have one solid answer for that. There's been a lot of mentors in my life that have taught me different things, But also, we live in an age where you can pull up Google or YouTube and learn how to do most anything. So I've never taken on something of this scale, but I've found that I can break it down into small steps and learn how to do things one at a time. So like when it comes to framing windows, I probably spent 2 weeks researching how to properly frame a window and what all the pieces were and how it goes together, and you just build up from there. I think in order to live this kind of a lifestyle, you have to love learning, because you're never going to stop learning new things. And that's how we adapt to problems out here is, something goes wrong, you got to figure out how to fix it. And then that for the next time. The property here, like I said, it does not have road access. So one of the big challenges working out here is bringing in materials. I've watched several YouTube building channels, and actually quite a few of them use the Woodland Mills sawmills. So that caught my attention really early on. And it looked like fun. So I decided to go ahead and order one. I had it shipped to a house that was nearby on the grid, and I had to truck it up here to the property one piece at a time on my snow machine last winter. I would say at this point, it has definitely paid for itself. And it's going to continue to make lumber for me for years and years to come, which is awesome because I have so many more plans for things I want to build on this property. So this is a 2-story cabin with 2 lofts at either end that are built out of logs. Floor is made up of 2x6. The walls are 2x4, but I also have a lot of logs that I've used in this build that I've used the mill just to flatten off one edge. So I've probably milled, I want to say, at least 400 individual pieces of lumber that have gone into this build. And it's all a mix of white and black spruce. That's what we have growing up here. I built with green lumber, with trees that were cut this spring, and I tested the moisture in the wood just the other day. It's already down to 15% with no checks and no cracks and no twisting. I'm really excited. I cannot express the sense of pride and shock that I have when I look at this cabin. I've been working on this for all summer, and I look at it every day, but every single day when I come up here and I see what I've built with this sawmill and the wood off of the property, it takes my breath away, and I cannot believe that I made this. It's the best feeling, and it's amazing how I look at things now. I get really excited when I see a really unique tree. All I want to do is put it on the mill and see what's inside of it, because it might be really ugly on the surface, but I know as soon as I cut that thing open, it's going to be really cool. Woodland Mills reached out to me and wanted to help me on my journey, and I could not be more grateful, because one of the biggest challenges for me building this entire thing by myself has been obviously the heavy lifting. So I am so excited to get to work with my Pathlander trailer from Woodland Mills and with my Loglander log arch. Those are going to be essential in getting my wood from the forest to my mill, getting the lumber from my mill to the cabin. I could not be more excited. When I posted about my journey on the Woodland Mills community Facebook page, I have to say I was really, really nervous, and I don't remember what even inspired me to make that post, but I'm so proud of everything that I've done, and I just wanted to share it with the Woodland Mills community that I had built all of this using their sawmill. But this is a community that I would imagine is primarily men who know what they're doing, I would think. And I'm not going to pretend like I always know what I'm doing. So I expected quite a bit of criticism in my build, but I went ahead and I posted anyways, and I shared a bunch of photos, and the responses were so overwhelmingly positive and inspirational. It just gave me a huge boost, which honestly I needed, because doing all of this work out here alone, you don't always get the validation from other people that you're doing a good job or that you're doing it right. And just to see the outpouring of support and people wanting to follow my journey, it made me feel really, really, really good. And especially to hear from quite a few people that even I have made mistakes, and I know I've made mistakes, but that the mistakes that I've made are not the end of the world. I just love that I can inspire women to do these things, because traditionally this has been a male dominated world, but we're just as capable. And while men and women have their differences, obviously I don't have the strength that a lot of men might have doing this kind of build. I think what I bring to the table is a lot of creativity. And so I've been able to apply that to the build. Women, get out there, pick up a chainsaw. If you don't know how to use it, ask someone to teach you. It's the most empowering thing. When I first bought my first tractor and drove my tractor around, I felt like I could conquer the world. But yeah, men won't always tell you this, but it's actually really fun to use power equipment. So get out there and give it a try. I mean, yeah, women, you are capable. You just gotta get out there and try something new. Now that the shell of the cabin is done, the main cabin, where do I put my efforts next? Because I have several things I need to do, and in my mind, they're all critical. Yes, I do have a YouTube channel. It is called Wild Woman Off Grid. I launched this YouTube channel originally with my husband under a different name, and then I rebranded it last year. But 3 months ago, maybe, I had 150 subscribers, and it was just something I did kind of as a hobby so that I could go back and see, almost like a video diary, my build and the journey that I had been through. And something happened. The right person saw my video and shared it with their people, and it blew up, and the Facebook or the YouTube algorithm grabbed onto it, and it just took off like wildfire. It has been overwhelming, the amount of people following my journey now. Yeah, so the cabin is not done yet. I'm probably going to be shifting gears to working more indoors as the weather gets colder, but right now I am trying my best to get some outdoor things done while I still can. On this cabin, I am building a covered porch that's going to be built with log columns. I am building a carport for my ATV and my snow machine, and I'm building an addition that is going to be a water storage room and a plant starting room, so kind of like a greenhouse. As far as the interior, I'm going to be working on that this winter, but then once I'm done with this cabin, I plan to branch out. So I still need to build a firewood storage shed. I want to build a sawmill shed for my Woodland Mills HM122 so that it has a permanent structure over the top. So that's going to be a lot of fun, using my sawmill to build a shed for my sawmill. This is only a quarter acre of my 10-acre property. So I plan to start branching out from here. I would like to eventually get a road in here, which means I will be building a garage and some sort of a wood shop. So this is going to be a development project over the next decade or more of my life. I am capable of so much more than I ever thought I was, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I mean, this is a very physically challenging thing to do, cutting down your own trees, milling lumber, and building a cabin. but the mental game sometimes is just as hard. And convincing myself to come out here and work when it's 28 degrees. Um, I have found a strength within myself that I never knew was there. And it gives me a lot of hope that I can conquer anything else that ever comes my way. It has been incredibly empowering and strengthening, and also just a ton of fun.